What's going on? I know this is something new, this is something different, but again, it's season 3, and we're back at it. This is definitely a new look, and I hope everybody can get with it. Been planning this for some time, and I'm hoping to have a lively discussion. As you're coming into the room, let me know that you're here, and, we're going to have a little fun tonight. I hope everybody's digging the new surroundings. And hopefully we're going to have a very spirited conversation. We're going to chop it up tonight. But before we start, I just want to introduce 2 very special people coming to the set. And let's have our first special guest come in and have a seat. And when they do, please introduce yourself. What?
Now we are?
Yep.
Oh, you got to kill that.
What's up?
Please introduce yourself.
It's B. Chanel here, back in the flesh, ready to chop it up.
There we go. Now my other special guest, come and have a seat. Yeah, we got to go with the extra special promotion here. Please introduce yourself as if nobody knows who you are today.
Sally Sasson in the building. Back, baby.
There we go.
Season 3.
Season 3. And as you already know, I'm your host, Mr. A, and this is the Set 6145. Tonight, live broadcasting from Brooklyn. Salute to our guy Josh over at Brooklyn Podcasting Studios. I hope you guys like what you see, and we're gonna have some fun tonight. I hope everybody enjoys the show. So before we do, how's everybody feeling? What's going on? How we doing?
Good. I'm feeling real crisp, as you can see.
Looking sharp. We're looking
Got
sharp.
a nice facelift up here.
Shit is adding like 10 pounds to my grill.
Don't look too close.
That double chin is coming through real nice, right?
The camera like up there.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we're here tonight. We're chopping it up with Miss B. Chanel and Mr. Sally Sasson, and we're going to have some fun tonight talking about everything that's going on in the world, local, international, whatever it is. But I guess since I'm talking, I'm gonna seize the floor right now, and I'm going to set it off with the first topic. So if you guys, yes, sir.
Josh run the intro.
He ran it.
He did it? Oh, my fault. I'm sorry.
We had you know what? Josh, run the intro again.
Rewind.
Yeah, let's go. Run that intro again, baby. That's it. That's what makes it fun.
I got to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Josh is like, I put the
These
intro
guys.
away.
This guy's
They're making me
It's gone.
work.
It's gone. It's
Brooklyn
gone.
Podcasting Studio. This is the spot to be.
Was that slow enough? There you go. All right. So, salute to everybody over here at Brooklyn Podcasting Studio. And we're going to chop it up tonight, have a little fun. And as I said before, I'm going to jump in with the first topic. If you guys have been living under a rock for whatever reason, people get on these platforms and they just, I don't know, they say things that are crazy, but it caused a stir. So if you missed this recently, Fat Joe got on social media, whether it be Instagram or he was in an interview with Angie Martinez, and he stated that Puerto Ricans created hip-hop alongside black people, and it was 50-50. And Busta Rhymes, if you remember, like last summer, I think it was, right outside of COVID, or was it before COVID?
Around, yeah, right. Last summer.
All right. He said that hip-hop was started by the power of black and Puerto Rican people. Now, there's been a bit of space between these two things occurring, right? But Fat Joe saying what he said really caused a stir. And I want to know what y'all think about that. What do you?
What Fat Joe said?
Yeah, what do you think about Fat Joe saying that hip hop was created by Puerto Ricans and black people 50-50?
I don't think that's fair. I
Okay.
think I don't, they were there, but to say 50-50, I feel like that's giving us a little bit too much credit.
Mm.
And I don't know a lot about the history and stuff, but I
Right.
feel like I know enough about the history to be realistic about it as well. Don't take things away from people who are constantly getting things taken away from them and their history being erased. Like, give props where props are due. Yes, we were there. I'm sure we created other things, but don't take full, like, we were there 50-50. Let's relax a little bit with that.
Interesting take from the younger generation. I think that's a very interesting take, but very introspective. What do you think, Sal?
I mean, again, we weren't there. We don't know. Latinos and blacks have, frontlined a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? We've been, taking stuff away from us too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's all definitely a grab that, again, we weren't there from the beginning. So it's tough to talk about it as far as, how do you say,
Contributing?
contributing. Yes, contributing factors. But hip hop has come a long way, which I'm not a fan of now. But that's the thing with evolution, right? You know, in life in general, we're all like,
change.
we're the old people in the room. Sorry.
I think it's fair to say that we have also gotten stuff taken away from us, but we know how it feels. So I think it's very unfair that Fat Joe went and said that. We know how it feels to be things taken away from us. Our own history has been erased half the time. So why would we want to go and do that to something else when it's like, I'm sure there's history on it, maybe not video cameras, but there's accounts and stuff like that. So I just think it's really unfair to say that or to do that. I don't know exactly what Busta Rhymes said. I just know what Fat Joe said.
Right. Busta Rhymes' initial statement, and the caveat to that is that Busta Rhymes actually made more statements after that are coming up on the net. And it's really like putting him in a bad space because I'm going to give this to both Joe and Busta. I'm going to say that they probably meant one thing, but didn't have the words to really sort of articulate it in the proper context. So, I'm giving them that much, right? In the first instance. In the second instance, I'm going to say people need to know, first things first, black people invented hip hop. Hip hop is a black culture invented by black people in the South Bronx, right? All right, so let's get that off the table. We're clear on that. The second part I want to say is that I'm getting offended. No, I am.
Okay.
I'm getting offended because first of all, I feel like, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. If you were not born in New York City between the years of, like, let's say 1962 and like 1975, and didn't grow up here in New York City, being born in that sort of time pocket, you should really stay out of the conversation.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That is fair.
I really don't think anybody who's born outside of New York City should have like an opinion.
Especially, I was not obviously born in that time.
Right.
But just hearing how rough it was, that's the same thing. You can't take it away from somebody who's been through it,
right? Who's
lived it. So I think that's a very fair.
What I will say is Latinos invented breakdancing because Crazy Legs is the best.
Well, and that's an interesting thing that you say that because I was speaking to a specific somebody, salute to 104.73 South Bronx, you know who you are, and he told me himself growing up, because Soundview is part of the birthplace of hip hop, right? So he was telling me, the one thing I remember growing up is that the Puerto Ricans had the dancing and breakdancing on smash. He's like, we were too cool to be, and I was like, oh, word? He's like, that's how I remember it. My people were too cool to dance. And I was like, oh, okay. But getting back to my point, in researching all of this, they say a lot of this started with the gangs, and then they're saying that Puerto Ricans didn't mess with black people and they were racist towards them and blah, blah, blah. And it offends my senses because I understand first and foremost, just like you two probably understand, that we as Puerto Ricans and being a part of Latino culture, the self-hatred that we've learned from American colonialism is real,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
You grow up with that, yo, don't be bringing no moreno, like fathers telling their daughters that bullshit. And it's offensive to me, right? That's the
Yeah.
first part. The second part is, when I did my research, I went back and I found footage of Puerto Rican and black gang members that came together in 1972, which is 1 year out of the birth of hip hop. And a specific leader that I posted today was saying out of his own mouth that he wants to make his community better for his brothers and sisters, we black and Puerto Ricans. So to hear people, Lord Jamal was saying it, and there was somebody else that said it too. Oh, this gentleman from out west, Tariq Nasheed, who I applaud his work in Hidden Colors. He did a documentary, Hidden Colors, like 5-part series. Great groundbreaking work. But he's like, oh, Puerto Ricans didn't mess with us and they were racist. And
But that could have been his experience. And I think that's
he's
a
not
lot
even
of-
from New York. He's from
Oh,
Detroit.
okay.
And he moved
But I
to
feel
LA.
like that's an experience anywhere. You don't have to be New York to get people being racist to you because you're black and brown. That's everybody's experience as a black and brown person. I was not born in that era, and I dealt with that in school. You know what I mean? And I lived in the suburb. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't dealing, like, you don't have to be in a hood, or, you don't have to come from a certain neighborhood to have racism
Experience
toward
racism,
yeah,
yeah.
to experience racism towards
Yeah.
you. So I think I don't know. I feel like this. I think. Yeah.
1971. So what's the birth of hip hop? What song?
It's not necessarily a song. It's a happening.
Yeah, okay.
It's 73.
Oh.
As I understand the discussion goes, it's 73. There was a build up to that point, to that, that pocket.
Right.
But it bothered me because, first of all, this discussion is breeding a division, right? Because of corporate entities that want to push, because now they're putting breakdancing in the Olympics.
I'm sorry. What?
Yes.
Well, I saw Bebop. What was it? The hip hop rocking on ESPN.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they was on it last night. I was like, what? It was like one of those ESPN channels, the Ocho or one of those.
That is crazy.
The Fire Stick got everything. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
The reason why I'm offended and I'm angry is because this dude Tariq Nasheed, who I respect his work and I respect what he does. Fat Joe said what he said, and you can correct somebody without creating all of this. Because to say that Puerto Ricans wasn't rocking with y'all, do we really believe? Like, all right, let's speak honestly. Do we really believe that if there was any like racism or bias during that time, that like black people were trying to be cool with us and we were like, nah, fuck y'all?
I'm sure there was a select few.
Yeah.
There might have
And
been
ev-
some
but that's like
islanders
with
that come.
everything.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
islanders that come, or
Yeah.
families. Stay,
Right. And that's what I'm
And
saying.
it could have been
like,
vice versa too.
But to
Yeah.
say that was the whole entire thing,
Right, that's how they
not
paint-
fair.
that's how they're painting it.
Yeah, that's not cool.
and
That does cause division because that
Yeah.
causes division.
now, do you think Puerto Ricans that grew up in New York City are the same as Puerto Ricans who grew up in, let's say, Connecticut or Boston?
No,
What do you think are the differences?
their experiences. That I mean, yeah, just their experiences.
I think culturally,
Puerto Ricans in New York are different than Puerto Ricans from the island.
exactly.
They look at us different over there too. So
And I'm gonna say this, and I'll end it here. I do not like what's going on because now you have people on the internet, and not just famous people. You have regular people like us getting on the internet and are trying to put Puerto Ricans in a pocket of like we're dick riding hip hop, and I don't like that. That shit is corny,
Yeah.
and it's just untrue. You know what I'm saying?
that's the world today. Division, like Bree said, division. It's that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, the
And
drama.
they're doing that basically because what Fat Joe said, right?
Fat Joe, listen, at the end of the day, he said what he said.
And but that's the thing too. Like, if you are somebody who's so high, you do have to be careful how you use your platform and what you say
Of course.
and put out there. And you kind of got to deal with the consequences too, or go back and be like, I was a dick. Sorry. Like, I shouldn't have said X, Y. This is what I meant. But seeing the backlash, that's, to me, is where the growth should come in.
Right.
You're Fat Joe. You have this huge platform, and you went and said something that got backlash from
Type
it.
of reckless.
Yeah, very reckless. Like, not cool at all.
Right.
Because if it was done to us, it would have been, you know, the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, if you see that there's backlash, go back, be an adult. And be like, this is what I actually meant, or this is what I said, or I
Right.
apologize. I went back and did my history.
Right. That's
I don't know.
I
That's
wanted
how
to-
I think.
No, I agree with that. We I had this conversation with my son the other day. Because he, you know, something happened. I asked him to do something, and I kind of like lashed out. I was angry at his mom. I kind of lashed out, and he was upset at it. And I'm like, let me talk to you. You upset? Like, what happened? Oh, you said this. I'm like, all right. I said, when did words when did words become like we can't say certain things to people and it's like they crumble, you know? And I told him, he's like, oh, but you know, my ADHD. I said, no, don't ever use that as a crutch. You know what I mean? Don't use that as a crutch. I said something, you didn't do it. I lashed out. I was wrong. I apologize. Best day of 3 days of my life when you and your brothers were born. But don't ever like use this ADHD or this. They're programming everybody to have ADHD with this TikTok and all this stuff. So, you know, when did words become like, we got to watch what you say to everybody, you know?
I think
I mean, you're younger, so I
yeah.
love to hear.
Yeah. Before you say that, hold on. I'm glad you brought that up, Shelly, because they have been conditioning people to have brittle spirits. Like, we grew up. Yo, dude, how bad?
Oh. Don't get mad. It'd be
Yeah,
worse.
no, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We grew up terrorizing each other with words, talking about our mothers, like your family members. It didn't matter.
I get it. I've seen that.
Right.
But my whole thing is, look at where it got us.
Where did it
This
get
is
us?
not a nice world. This
Well-
is not a nice place, and I'm not saying you
No, yeah.
specifically. I'm not saying you specifically.
Yes, she
Your
is.
children should feel like, why can't you be nice to your kids? And I think it was very admirable that you went back and was like, this was my first reaction, and I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really big thing, because to me, that you're breaking generational things. I'm sure your parents didn't say sorry to you,
Never.
but
To
that's
this day. Hold on. Let's put the music on.
But that's what I mean. Like, just because the world is going to be mean to your kids doesn't mean you have to be
No,
mean
for
to your
sure.
kids. That should not be a thing. You should be creating these things at home where it's like, I am saying sorry to you, so that when you have kids, you know, and I get the crutch thing, and that's how you deal with it, and that's totally cool. I think to kind of piggyback on that, I think these things have always been around. It's just now we're noticing them, and now we're giving them a name, and now we're treating them. Now, to say everybody has ADHD and people should be diagnosing themselves based off TikTok, no, that's wrong. Go to a doctor. You are not a doctor. Kimberly from freaking what the hell is not a doctor. So
WebMD.
yeah, like, it's very easy to be like, I have OCD. No, you don't. There's people out there who really have that. So I totally get that. Like, don't use that as a crutch kind of thing. And it's also admirable that you say sorry to your kids. I think it's just it's different now. It's a different world, and we should just be kind to each other, because look at where us roasting each other, and I'm not saying friends. You're a kid. You're gonna say your mother this and your mother that. That's totally, I get it. Have thick skin when you go out into the world. But at home, you should still be open to say sorry to your kids. And hey, this is why I'm always give your kids the why behind things, so they're not just thinking you're going out and being a dick to them. And you think you're giving them a life lesson. I don't have kids, by the way. No kids. But this is something that I want to lead. That's how I want to lead. That's how I want to leave the world better than I found it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want to be nice to my kids. That's my whole thing.
I own up to it. I had a friend made a post the other day, Gen X, you know, this was Gen X, and then Gen Z and millennials, blah, blah. And I'm like, but we raised millennials, and we raised Gen Z.
We're Gen Z, right?
No, we're X.
You're X.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
we're Gen
millennial.
X.
Yeah,
Millennial.
And then Elijah would be a Gen X.
Gen X. So we're Z. No, we're X.
No, you're X. I
They're
think
Z.
he's a Gen Z.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know. Millennials are sad, though.
What are you? Elijah?
I'm a millennial and I'm sad.
But we raised them, so
Yeah,
it is kind of on us.
And it's
You know,
true.
Here, take
and,
the tablet. Leave me alone. You know.
and I
Yeah.
get that. But to me, it's just a trauma thing. You don't think you're traumatizing your kids by like giving them thick
Something
skin,
so-
but
right.
you're giving them other things that you don't even realize because this is just what you've always done. You're like, look at me, I turned out fine, not realizing you have all these damn problems.
Right, yeah.
So that's
I'm great.
yeah, like I just think it's really awesome that an apology was issued and you took a second to be like, hey, shouldn't have done that.
No, definitely.
I think, well, I want to say something to that whole thing. The generational thing and raising our kids and being apologetic and whatnot. We definitely took a different approach to raising our kids because of how we were raised. We had to become adults very young, right? Like, Shelly, we used to travel boroughs young, like really
I used to
young.
go to practice on the train.
Yeah,
early.
super early. But I think that when I said brittle spirit is because people today, society-wise, school, where you guys have spent most of your time, friends, social media that took hold, everybody's sensitive. It's like, yo, come on. I can't spend my life apologizing to everybody.
That's fair.
What happened? Listen,
You're the first one to bang the table.
I can't spend my life apologizing to everybody, and everything can't be an issue. It's too much. Because, yes, as a parent to a child, yeah, you have to really think about the things that you say and take care of your words because you can. We're products of that. We grew up like, abusado, like, but we can't. Every waking second can't be in about apologizing. Oh, yo, I'm offended. Listen, you gotta have thick skin. Have it everywhere, even on the internet. Like,
Yeah, I get
stop
that.
this whole boohoo shit. Like, it's terrible.
But it doesn't have to be at home. That's
of
the point
course.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to drive
Oh,
home.
okay.
And
Nah,
have
yeah.
the realistic conversation with your kid. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
I
I'm
saw
nice,
it. I
but
saw
not-
it affected them. I was like, what's bothering? What you said? And we had the conversation, and that's it. But I'm on that sense also. Words shouldn't be able to cut you up.
Yeah.
Don't let it
That's
happen.
fair.
And just getting that is like, that's a super like evolved. He went from caveman to like standing upright. Because no, I'm serious, because our parents wouldn't have picked up on them. What the you want me to give you something to be upset about?
Yeah.
Before we continue, salute to everybody in the room. Anthony Montenegro, Egro, what up? Ray Birmingham. Salute to our guy Dom G in the building. Yo, what up? All right. So before we move, rest in peace to PNB Rock, died senselessly. What are you guys doing with hip hop? It's terrible. It is. It's just terrible. So number 2 is
All right, Peter, my brother, Peter Portland Latin too.
Oh,
Lost
of
him
course.
between time.
Big Pete.
Yes, sir.
Gonna kill me now.
So what's up? What's going on with the?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
There we
Bad
go.
Bunny, babe. Yeah. So, what'd you guys think about that?
What was it that happened?
He
Because I
had a
didn't watch it.
dancer on. It was Yankee Stadium. I think he had a concert at Yankee Stadium, and I think he kissed one of his dancers, female, and then they ended up kissing one of his male dancers, and the whole internet, lost his
Well-
mind. But I mean, if you follow this music and you know his lyrics, and you kind of, you wouldn't be surprised that happened. So
Does he talk a lot about like?
he has subliminal messages. Like if you listen to his lyrics,
Uh-huh.
he has a lot of subliminal.
Oh,
So
well, you know
I-
what? I want to hear from the younger generation.
I just started listening to Bad Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know much about him. I know he's super hyped up by the community. I like him. I like his style. I like his vibe. I think he's just trying to again normalize things that have already been in the world.
Which is
Kissing boys and kissing girls. That's his vibe. That's his business. He makes enough money that he can do that.
Madonna did it for a long time. Right?
Exactly. So why? I think the whole hype is that he is a man. I think that's literally the only hype, that he's a Puerto Rican man. And I mean, I can't speak for Puerto Rican men, but from what I've seen, sometimes
muy machismo.
very much so. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, to me, I'm like, whatever. Madonna did it with Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears, and the internet fucking blew up.
Yeah, that was great.
Why can't Bad Bunny do it? And he's normalizing things that are already in the world, already in the industry. Lil Nas X did it.
Oh,
He kissed only a man though, but he's gay. That's his business.
right.
By normalizing, do we mean everyone should see this, or
Normalizing people who feel this way and showing that, look, the biggest people out there, this isn't weird. There's somebody out there that's like you. And that's what I mean by normalizing. Not, I'm going to corrupt your mind. Like, no, not like that.
Well, I'm glad you said that last part, corrupt your mind. Because as much as I've never been a fan and I've never been a hater either. I just never... Bad Bunny wasn't an artist that I was like, oh, I got to hear this music. Because I'm not a fan of reggaeton.
Yeah, same.
I just, when it started, cool. I was like, oh, this is our own sort of wave to a degree. And some of the artists were speaking some really important things, at least to me, I thought. But now it's become, again, it's commercialized and it's taking a turn. Now, the little bit that I know about Bad Bunny, I've come to admire and respect. His friendship with this person who was murdered on the island is part of the reason why I understand that he does these things and he's exploring these avenues, allegedly, right? That's the backstory. But kissing, it's like saying, oh, it's none of your business what's between my legs, but you kissing dudes on stage what's the point?
But what does one have to do with the other?
So the mouth and the genitals are not sexual.
But I mean, what does me kissing somebody have to do with what I do behind closed doors? I feel like
you
it's
kiss
two different
people that
things.
you don't in the mouth? You understand?
Some people do. That's all. That's why I'm asking. Why does one have
Richard
to do-
Dawson kissed everybody? All the women, Family Feud. She's like,
Yo, Richard Dawson was trying to get at everybody. Abuelas, mommy, everybody. I think.
But you see what you just said?
Yeah.
What's the difference? Because
that
it was a
was-
man kissing women?
No.
It still wasn't cool. You over here kissing everybody. Without some of them people was looking forward to it, but
Yeah, listen, on that show, Richard Dawson was straight, I could smell it. I could play you YouTube clips and you'd be like, yo, this dude's practically molesting this women.
what's your answer?
Yeah.
Who cares? You're always right.
So I think that is just all right, what's next? We had Lil Nas X with his whole pregnancy. We all know it's a ploy for publicity and media hype. We all can we agree on that
On the
part?
individual's part.
On the individual's part. This is all for clicks and attention, right?
sure.
Is Bad Bunny gay?
But
I
what's
believe
wrong?
he's bisexual.
I think, what if he's bi? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
No, I'm
From
asking
listening
as
to
a-
his lyrics, I believe.
I don't
this
know.
is something
I know
that
he's married. He has a wife.
He is?
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
But
okay.
He's been with her forever, but I'm
Okay.
sure that
She knows the deal.
Yeah,
Okay.
All
right,
having
so
everything, boys and girls coming in here.
are we in a space that regular folks today are just whatever? I date this dude, he wears mascara, he's still my
Yes.
man. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
If Alonzo came to me tomorrow and was like, hey, I feel comfortable with this, I love him, I'm going to give him the space to explore that.
wait.
Not saying that he is.
No,
I'm just
we know.
saying-
I know that. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
All right, hold on. Let me make this clear to me. If Alonzo comes to you tomorrow and says, I want to wear this pleated tennis skirt, I like this. You walking down the street hand in hand, no doubt.
Yes, because that's the
merce.
person I love, and that's what is going to make him feel comfortable in this world. Then that's by all means. Pleated, I don't know if that's your style, hun, but whatever.
No,
that's what you want to wear.
Pleated,
Break free, Alonzo. Break free.
Commando, and Commando too.
If that's what he wants to do,
With
I'm going to tell him the health hazards of doing that. And then I'm going to be
sit
like,
there.
all right, let's go. We got to go.
Don't sit there.
This is why you need to wear underwear.
I think that the reason why I'm asking that is because a lot of women, not all, a lot of women, they have that nurturing spirit about themselves, and I get it. The immediate reaction is to let people be who they are, and I have nothing that, yo, dude, you want to wear a skirt, go ahead, like, but the minute that I've usually, not you, usually when I put it to a woman, so your man wants to wear a dress, you're gonna walk? Hell no, I ain't walking down.
But
the
isn't
street.
that's a preference thing at that point?
What do you mean?
That's like, I don't want to date a man who's super, super tall. I don't want to date a short guy. Like, all right, then don't date a short guy. Don't date this guy who likes to wear skirts. He will find somebody who likes him and his skirts. That's just a preference thing. In my opinion, that's a preference thing.
He'll find the skirt chaser.
Exactly. And more power to him.
But that's the thing. A lot of people, that's not their first thing. Those things come out later as you build that trust with somebody.
And then you decide, do I love this person enough to accept them?
Right.
Or, nah, that's not for me. I'm sorry.
So are we normalizing skirts for guys?
Yes.
Why?
Because there's so many things in this world to worry about already. Why the fuck am I going to care that I can see your knees? Why am I going to care?
You're going to see his balls.
But again, hey, I can see your
bags.
webbies. Like,
Did you just?
Yeah, like I can see them. Hold up.
All right.
Let me show you the health risks.
Yeah, let's get off this topic. Enough of Bad
Well,
Bunny.
on the topic of Bad Bunny, just today, Peppa Pig is now being canceled.
Wait, canceled?
Canceled. Some people are like boycotting it. It's getting a lot of backlash.
Okay.
There are now 2 polar bear moms on Peppa Pig.
Oh, wow.
It's Peppa Pig's friend. She has, she talks about her 2 moms and how they cook breakfast, or like they cook for her and stuff like that. And people are like outraged. It's the same thing with like Arthur when the principal got a husband, or any show that shows any sort of representation. It's getting backlash because it's Peppa Pig, and it's, I guess, because it's for such a younger audience that people are like just up in arms about it. So what do you think of that?
I mean, for me, I was raised with a different mindset because I think that instinctively, what's natural to me is not going to be natural for everybody. Everybody, is dancing to their own beat right now, and it's a lot more accepting, right? However, for me, I don't think it's healthy for you to start putting that in children's purview. Children should not be concerned about what their parents are doing, whether it's 2 moms or 2 dads or what. Like, you should not be poisoning that water. And I say it's poison because you're taking their minds away from what's really natural. And I don't want to offend anybody by using that word, but that's what it is, natural, between a man and a woman, because that's where the procreation comes from. That's where everybody has come from a man and a woman. Not 2, and I know. I feel the heat, but I'm giving my honest answer. I think it's wrong to insert your sort of lifestyle or the people that you love to children. Like, you shouldn't start doing that. It's just like we're teaching children about transsexuals, or that should not be happening. I mean, respectfully, I don't think that's good. That's how I see it.
That was like one of the last asexual cartoons around, I believe,
Peppa
right?
Pig.
Peppa Pig. I mean, we grew up on violence, Tom and Jerry. We grew up on Pepe Le Pew,
Cross-dressing Bugs Bunny.
But yeah, I agree. I don't feel it should really be. At what age do we start, though? Right? At what age do you start teaching children this? Kids wanting to having surgeries and things like that, and they're 11 years old or whatever. Like, that's tough. Like, that's bad. Treading that water is really scary in my mind. But it's a different world we're living in, man.
Very.
So, but it's okay for a mom and a dad.
Okay for what?
To be represented, to show 2 parents, male, female, in love.
When you have a child, are you gonna let your son and or daughter have cake for breakfast?
But I'm saying.
No. Hold on.
So this is
Wait.
where-
Are you gonna let your child have cake and ice cream for breakfast?
This is apples and bananas.
No, it's not. I'm gonna
Yes,
make
it
up,
is.
but just answer the question and I'll make my point to you.
Okay.
Would you let
no,
them? Why?
Because that's not healthy
Okay.
for their body. But okay, go on.
for their body.
Go off. Gosh.
So my thing is, if you do not let your child choose what they want to eat, what they really want, they're telling you, "Mommy, I want cake and ice cream." We should not be letting children make these decisions, life-changing, life-altering decisions where their minds are still young.
But what about the kid who does have two moms? What about the kid that does have two dads?
Cool.
They
Cool.
don't deserve representation just because you believe something different?
I've lived in a country for all of my life. It took me, I don't know, probably almost 30 years to see myself on TV.
I get that. I totally understand that. As a little brown girl, I didn't see myself on covers of books. It would have been a lot cooler if I saw that when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the same thing as seeing your two moms, the people you love the most, represented in TV.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's saying the mom and the dad aren't going into the back room and you can know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between the two moms? They're just going and making the food. And the little girl's like, "Oh, I love my parents because they make me spaghetti."
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with what's going on behind closed doors?
Because you have to explain. And I don't, if I'm wrong,
But the thing is, I feel like this is adult thinking because a lot of times kids have come and been like, "Why do they have two moms?" Because this woman and this woman fell in love.
that's the point I was
But
trying
it's
to get
love.
to.
They're not saying that they boned each other and then they were like, "Oh yeah," you know what I mean? Like you're sexualizing it before kids are sexualizing it.
I'm not necessarily sexualizing it. What I'm saying is children should not be involved in that stuff. And then where's the line? Because if it's cool, and I'm not
Well,
saying...
Blue's Clues threw a whole pride parade on
Right.
TV, and they showed all of the representation. Transsexuals,
Blue's Clues still
asexuals.
on?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it's still on. This happened 2-3 years ago.
They didn't come to me for approval.
They're not going to. Sorry, I didn't know if you got that memo. They
I'm
don't
just
care
saying.
what you think. But because it wasn't there wasn't a lot of representation for it back then. That doesn't mean that these people didn't exist. Now
Nobody-
they have the representation, just like us brown people have the representation now that we need to validate that we exist. And that's my whole point with these little kids and these shows. They're not going out and doing anything inappropriate. What they're doing is when you go home, you have two mommies, and now you see your favorite show. They have two mommies too.
Mm-hmm.
They have two dads. I feel like we think about it with our adult minds in a sexual way. Those little kids are not thinking about it. They have two parents that love them. What's the problem?
Right.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that as far as that goes that way. My issue only would be like them, chopping things off and things like that. Surgeries.
Yeah, and I didn't get on to that point, but yeah. I don't think that children should go out and have that surgery. I think that's the parent's choice to validate them. I would validate my child, but I'm not going out and being you know what? That's a really expensive surgery. When you get the money and you're old enough, that's a discussion for when you're older. At 11 years old, no, you still have your mind is not fully developed for you to go and chop things off and tuck things. No. But if you want to, hey, I feel more comfortable in this pink glittery outfit, by all means. Because I'm going to validate you before you go out into this harsh world. And that's my whole thing. This is my sanctuary. This is the safety of our house. As long as we're validating you and we're making you feel good about yourself, you can go out there with the knowledge that the people who love you the most got you back. And that's just my thing. No, I don't think people should be cutting anything off or in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can't even get kids to get an education, first and foremost. We can't even get kids to school safely. We can't even pull teachers that are terrible. We can't even track down child molesters and keep them away from kids. Children today are facing so much more than all of us have faced in our childhood. They don't, to me, in my opinion, we're going to put this on them too. Like, it's cool. There's kids out there with two daddies and two mommies. Cool. Is it that overwhelming that, you know what? This entire 20, 30, 40 million slash of people, the swath of people in the US are not represented. Like, is it that deep?
Yes.
It is?
It is that
Like,
deep.
what are the numbers?
For those people, just like it is that deep for us brown people. That's the point I'm trying to get across.
What I'm saying is, what are the numbers, like, roundabout? Like, do we know there's, like,
I don't know.
20 million?
But it's just like what you just
Alonzo,
said.
get the stats.
It's like what you just said. Like, representation really matters. Look at this Ariel thing. You know how many girls are like, oh my God, like, there's a brown girl and she has locks and she's the biggest princess out there. That little bit matters to these people.
Oh, when I said that I didn't see myself, what I was, my overall driving point was, it took me X amount of years to see myself. They can wait.
No. No.
I mean, that's just, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying we're putting.
It's moving fast.
It's moving. Listen,
But don't you wish when you were younger it moved fast so you could see yourself?
Sure.
I wish I saw, as somebody who sees themselves now on books, like I wish I saw that when I was younger so I can be a little bit more proud of where I come from. And maybe I would have learned to speak Spanish if I saw like that was more, it was a bigger thing than it is now. Like, that it is now.
I honestly think of, you know what I think about? I think about my father and my grandfather. Like, what were their days like as children?
Depressing.
Seeing people on TV, if they had a TV, that. Yeah, well, oh, there we go. Sorry, folks. Never seeing themselves represented, in anything. And when they were caricatures. They weren't, real Puerto Rican people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when we watch West Side Story, one of my
There was
favorite.
one brown person in that whole fucking movie.
In the original, yeah. Like,
Two. My bad. Thanks, Elijah.
and in my family, my other side, like my cousins used to tell me, nah, you can't be a jet. You got to be a shark. You know what I'm saying? So, and sharks.
But it was the way that they were portrayed. You're totally right. But that doesn't like.
Y'all,
just because they suffered, you have to wait too. Like that's not
Yeah,
fair.
wait your turn.
It is their turn. That's the
No,
point I'm
it's
trying
not
to
their
get. You're not your
turn.
father's age when you were younger. Like that's the point. It's their turn.
I don't think the number of mixed blended families are that to that point. Like, black people make up 13% of the population. Latinos is the fastest growing minority group in the United States. Like, those people have stakes in this country,
And
right?
they're getting their time too.
Right, and look how long it took.
But why can't it be?
Nah.
Why, there's not enough room on the door for all of us. We gotta push somebody off,
here,
Jack.
You're here. Nobody's keeping you out of work. Nobody's saying that you're not gonna get a bank loan because you got two mommies. Nobody's doing none of that. I feel that they driving like they making it everything everywhere I look. It's
Maybe
there.
it's because you're not in the community that you don't see how much it is represented. But I see it every day. I work in the city. Like
No,
I
but that's
see
what I'm
that
telling you.
every day. That's a huge thing there. When I lived in Florida, no, it wasn't a big thing.
It's Florida.
I know. But think about all the people who are still in the closet, who still aren't comfortable to see that representation.
Now I'm sorry. I was going like this. Texas. What was your experience like when you were there? Was that like that community represented heavy in Texas?
No, but I mean that was a long time ago. But
Still
we got our share of racism when we were there. We had our fair share of racism of, called the N-word and everything. So
Man.
that's like 90s.
Well, when I lived in Florida, when everything started shutting down, I got called a Jew multiple times.
They called you a Jew?
Oy vey.
Multiple times. And it
In
was
what
these,
context were they calling you a Jew? You don't look like
I know.
your Shiva material.
It doesn't even matter. The point is that was their first instinct. That's what's gonna get her.
Was Jew.
And I'm like, I would have been better if you called me something else. Like, what are you talking about right now?
Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah. And it was, can you please put this mask on? You fucking, you know what I mean? Like, the door is big enough that we can all sit on it. Just
Wait.
because we are not in this community or you are not in this community doesn't mean that the representation does not matter. That's the point I'm trying to drive home.
Yeah, I'm not saying that these people shouldn't exist. Like that's a stretch.
No. You're saying it shouldn't be a media.
It's I can't go nowhere. I can't do anything without this being like, hey, look. And I'm like, yo, relax.
Sometimes it is like queer baiting. I get that. And sometimes that's toxic. You shouldn't use it just to push your own agenda. Just like when Pride comes, everybody's fucking gay. Chase, fucking Starbucks, like everybody is gay. That's not cool. Don't do that either.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing with everything. Juneteenth, it became a holiday, and now everybody's like,
I don't even think
Juneteenth everything. That's not fair either.
I don't even think gay people exist no more. Everything is, you don't hear nothing about gay and lesbian. Everything is trans.
I'm gonna stay quiet.
No, because no, it's true. Like I everywhere I go, that's what everything's trans. It's no more gay. And if you say anything, like right now, they calling me like a transphobe.
Well, they're all into like, I guess the one umbrella. They were like, right? They're all putting themselves.
Yeah, but
in one umbrella.
they have like the trans community, like there's trans women, right? And I'm saying trans women, and I'm not
Just trans women.
Trans women want to date women, and want to date lesbians, and the lesbians are like, no, and they're calling them transphobes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a preference thing. That you shouldn't be
What
like.
do you mean preference?
That's meaning that's the lesbian's preference. Not every lesbian's gonna be like, I don't want to date you because you used to be a man. That's a preference. Same thing like if Alonzo wants to wear skirts. Or,
wait. No, I said
that's a preference.
Trans
thing.
woman.
I'm saying that's not fair for them to be like, you're transphobic. No, I just don't. That's a preference.
I don't like penis. That's why I'm a lesbian.
What if there's something that comes with the baggage of it?
What do you mean?
There's
traumas?
Stuff, yeah, there's stuff that comes with it. What if I don't want to get involved in that?
You're preaching to the choir, because for me, if a trans woman wants to date a lesbian and the lesbian is like, yeah, I'm not into yam bags, that doesn't make the lesbian a transphobe, and that is happening.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's a fight for that community to deal with. That's not a fight for. We don't have any stakes in that fight. But that's not our business.
Right. But the point is that everything, if you say
that's
anything,
between them and them.
You're a transphobe. You said this, or you're a transphobe. It's gotten to the point that it's ridiculous.
But that's with everything.
Yeah.
Go on.
Peppa Pig, go ahead. Keep the two moms. It is what it is. You know. In other news, Brett Favre got caught not with a deflated football, but with his hand in the cookie jar. And I know this is irking my partner here because he's a super Green Bay Packers fan. And, you know, Brett Favre was our guy. You know, great track record, great career. But I think this is not even a bad look. This is terrible for him and his legacy. And it speaks volumes to what people are doing when they think you're not looking or watching. You know, in Mississippi, there's a situation right now where people don't have drinking water. They don't have water to take a bath, cook, anything, right? And as I understand it, Mississippi sent back the federal government something to the tune of like $80 or $100 million instead of taking care of these people. They're citizens. But now we come to find out that Brett Favre was paid $1.4 million for a speaking engagement that he never did. And then he was making sure that they had set aside money to build this new volleyball gym or whatever you want to call it for, what's the school cell? Southern Mississippi, where his daughter plays. And I you know, a lot of people like to get on the news and say, shut up a dribble, and, you know, they should just be quiet. But Brett Favre, on top of that, has said a lot of suspect shit. And Drew Brees has definitely said that. So, you know, this is a real kick in the face to understand that this is who this man is. You know, we all are imperfect people. I get that. But this is just, for me, is just crazy. Can he come back from himself?
Can he come back from it? I mean, anyone can come back from it. I mean, if you listen to him talk, he sounds like a great politician. Like, we've heard this story before, you know. Mm-hmm. Brett Favre comes from Kiln, K-I-L-N. I think I'm saying it right, Kiln, Mississippi. So he's like born and raised out there. He, you know, he made it to college, made it pro. You know the story. Great accolades on the field. Mm-hmm. He acted like a politician in my mind. when he did this. You know, he felt he couldn't be touched. He tried to cover his bases. Someone spoke, obviously, because that's how you get caught in these things, right? No one's gonna find out, and obviously, yes, everyone's gonna find out. He robbed the welfare programming in Mississippi, and he, you know, a lot of outlandish stuff that he said. I think that's all. That was all set up. That's for this day. When he got caught, he's gonna say, "Well, I got like 40 concussions.
Ooh,
I don't know what I was doing."
what is it? ACT,
CTE.
CTE. Wow.
I think that he was setting all those crazy remarks and all that shit he had on the internet, social media, was all a ploy for today when he got caught.
It's gonna be my
And
cover.
it's gonna be his cover up.
Let me ask you a question now that you said that, because if I'm right, listening to what you're saying, you see him like feeding bullshit, right?
100%.
Okay,
The athlete that you know what I'm saying, that has nothing to do with the person.
right.
You know what I mean? I've always, you know, you could be the greatest player in the world, be the biggest jerk, right? So, and there's guys that are like humble and, you know, whatever. But the person, for him, what he did, and to rob that money and then knowingly speak about it like, "Hey, Mr. A, this is not going to come out, right? You know, get this money. Okay. And then, oh, what's holding up this money? Can you get this money to me already? Like, don't forget, we got to build." You know, so he was on tax and he's got caught. So there's nothing that he could come back. He could come back from this, like I said, but it's going to be that cop out of, I had concussions, I was bugging, I don't know what's going on. That's my opinion.
Let me ask you this before I move to B. Chanel. Do you feel he's a part of the good old boys?
Ooh.
Well, I mean, he's had other shit happen to him too with the picks and all that when he was with the Jets. I mean, he was raised in Mississippi, so to say no, I mean, that would be foolish. But you know, just because you share the locker room with blacks and browns and doesn't mean you're cool with them. You help me win games, yeah, we're cool. Other than that, stay away. You know what I mean? He could definitely be a part of something else.
Wow. I think that's. I wanted to ask him that specifically because a lot of people have a hard time separating things, right? So to learn that somebody who we looked up to, who we admired, especially Selly, you know, because he followed his career. He's been a Packers fan since we were kids, very young. Some people can't be honest about those things.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like a R. Kelly situation.
Okay.
That piss was digital though. But to hear him say that is refreshing because again, a lot of people won't be honest about that.
Real quick, did you see the thing with Jay-Z about Foxy Brown?
Oh, what about that? He was hitting it back
14,
in the
15? Yeah, so
Not shocking. I mean, how many dudes do we know personally that?
don't look at me. You're looking over there.
No, I'm saying we know. We went to.
Oh yeah, we know.
I drove by Fort Hamilton today, and as I'm driving by, now that you're bringing this up, I remember dudes used to come in their cars that were. They didn't go to school there no more.
They were like
you know
21 at least.
At least, right? And that's we can't normalize that. But I want to know what you think. I know you're not a sports person and you don't really follow, but this man was caught basically taking money away from needy people. And do you know the situation that's going on in a specific town in Mississippi where there's no...
Yeah.
Okay. That town, I think, not the mayor, the governor or whatever, he had like something to the tune of almost $100 million. And he sent it back to the federal government when he could have just tried to fix that situation, and he didn't. Mm-hmm. So, hearing that Brett Favre, who's a multimillionaire, took $1.4 million for doing nothing and took more money to build his daughter a stadium because she's in college. Like, how does that anger you at all? Or
it angers me, but I'm not at all surprised. He got caught. I'm sure there's other ones, his friends, his buddies, they all doing the same shit. Probably just maybe a little cleaner about it.
More discreet
until they get caught too. But I'm not at all surprised. I don't really know very much about him or his past or anything like that. But like, if he's running his shit like a politician, he's gonna get forgiven. If he's what you said, a Proud Boy.
No, I was asking Shelly if he's in the Good Old Boys network, the Southern Good Old Boys, those, white power, Confederate flags and all that.
Yeah, I think they also call them the Proud Boys.
No, the Proud Boys is like a
Is that
a
not the
group
same
that they
shit?
no.
No.
Good Old Boys is
Racism is racism.
yeah. You can definitely you can
so
definitely those
I feel like he knows enough people that he's probably gonna call. Oh, my head, and so
Yeah.
oh my head.
he'll be all right. He's gonna get a slap on the wrist. Probably face no consequences. He, like you said, he has all this money already in his pocket. So he's probably going to be like, oh, I'm going to donate some shit to charity, and then it's all going to be good.
Which he
I'm not
probably could have
surprised.
funded the arena himself, the gym.
Hello?
That's what I
whatever.
mean.
So,
Like, you
yeah.
did it, and for what?
Wealthy people think that way. That's how they operate. I don't
why they
want to
stay
use
wealthy.
my
Yeah.
money. I want to use your money.
Yeah.
Do you think is he a Trump guy?
I have no idea, but I'm
I'm a betting man. I think I put 100 on that. He's a
Yeah,
Trump guy.
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Oh. Producer
He's a
Josh says he's a Trump guy.
philanthropist.
Yeah. All right. One more. What we gonna do? Andrew Tate.
No, do the Safety Act.
Oh,
I
safety.
think that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
These are all my
yeah.
notes.
Run with it. Run with it. Shine.
Okay.
Get yours.
So on January 1st, 2023, the Safety Act will be going into effect in Illinois. And what that basically does is it abolishes cash bail bonds. And there's going to be 12 non-detainable offenses that you can get away with. Second-degree murder, aggravated battery, arson, drug-induced homicide, kidnapping, burglary, robbery, intimidation, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, and threatening a public official. So they're calling it the purge.
Do we? All right. Let's clarify something because I'm a little suspect about this. Because did you see the announcements for it?
I saw.
All right. Do we know 100% that that's what's happening?
What do you mean? Like, it,
Do we know for certain that this is what's really happening in Chicago?
yeah, it passed in 2020, and now they're implementing it in 2023.
It's a part of it was a part of another bill. You know how they always have the bills where
They bury shit in
they
it.
bury it in or
Yeah,
they put
yeah.
this. So actually, it's included with the police officers have mandatory cameras.
Body cams. Okay.
By 2025, they have to have the cams on, and if they don't, they're punished by law. They're gonna face punishment by law, certain time in jail and everything if they're not.
Really?
Yeah. So that was included in that bill, and they're labeling the purge law, like.
Yeah. The movie.
But it's a lot of fear mongering because if you do the homework and research on that, it's actually beneficial. It was brought up by the Black caucuses to pass this law. So
Josh, I just want to let you know that Mr. Sasson was tapping the table. That
Sorry.
wasn't me.
sorry.
But they're, from what I understand and the research I was doing, they're going to release about 400 inmates who've already
Who are locked up.
done this, and yeah, and I can totally get the fear mongering, but they only it's a 700-page document called the Safety, Accountability, Fairness, and Equity today, and they only took 40 minutes to read it and agree on it. So I think, yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, are you? And it's like, it doesn't matter the severity of your arson. It doesn't matter. Like, you're good. They have to like prove that they have to have evidence, clear and convincing evidence that the person has a high likelihood of willful flight to avoid prosecution before they can like put them away. And I can totally see the fear mongering.
Part of a lot of the Rikers Island, Cook County, those places is the holding bins for those. So there's a lot of people in there that can't afford bail. So it's. I think it's actually. I look at it on the other side. I play devil's advocate. I think this is actually beneficial. I think it's beneficial to black and browns. I think it's actually something that people can't afford. The median is like $10,000 for bail. Like a lot of people can't afford that in regular day living. So you go to Rikers, you end up getting another charge while you're in there waiting for your court
Defending
trial.
yourself.
Yeah.
Physically.
So, I mean, this is.
I think that what people need to understand, specifically in New York City, what has been happening over the last 2 years, if anybody's been paying attention, police are not working. Okay, let's just be honest about that. And I get we have this whole thing about, oh, you know, we don't know what their jobs are like. And listen, I didn't tell you to sign up for that job. You did. So stop the complaining. I don't want to hear complaints. All right. If you signed up for this job, you signed up to carry a gun and to deal with people that are, you know, for lack of a better term, shitty. Whether they're shitty to you, whether you don't like their attitude or how they speak or whatever, has nothing to do with the way you handle yourself and perform your duties. That's bottom line. And I don't feel sorry for police. I'm sorry, I just don't. You're not in Afghanistan. People are not busting shots at you like you make everybody feel like everybody's just out to get you. Tell me the last police that we know that got killed by somebody on the street. There was probably like 2 incidents. There was the one in Harlem when they were chasing some dude on the FDR, and then old boy that grew up in our neighborhood that was sitting in a squad car. Him and his partner got shot.
Right.
Before that, when?
Ramos.
Which one?
Officer Ramos.
That was his name?
Mm-hmm.
But before that, when? Police have a tough job, but my man, I'm sorry, this is what you chose to do. And how you conduct yourself has no bearing on me. Like, that's on you. If you don't like your job, quit. Police work and do what they do because they make amazing livings. But it doesn't mean that they're beyond reproach, and no matter what we do or what they do, we should support them. No. I'm for your performance record should be public knowledge. You're a public servant by title. We should be able to look at your performance records. Quotas need to be gone. And I think that, honestly speaking, if they remove quotas, policing will change. Because then they're not chasing people down just to arrest them to make their quota. And I respect what they do when they do it right. But the reality is, come on, man. You mean to tell me you haven't experienced a police officer come up to you ever in life and he starts talking crazy, and the minute you start talking crazy back, now he want to arrest you or he want to swing on you? Like, that's not how shit should work. It's just not. We can't trade off Gestapo police or purge-like living. Like, they're not going to do their job, so we're just... And that's the situation we're in now. The city's burning down, and, you know...
There's constant videos of shootings and people just coming around shooting. Back, you know, Chicago's very bad also, you know, terrible in Chicago. And, you know, same as here, and like I said, in Rikers Island, and these people waiting the trials, and they end up getting another case. You know, I think it happened somewhere else in D.C. or Washington State or something. They did this, and the reincarceration went down. And so, I mean, again, I think something has to give. Maybe give it a shot and see what happens, because this world's going crazy.
New approach, and we have to say RIP to Khalif. Is it Khalif Browder? Yeah. So, yeah, because this kid got arrested, suspected of stealing a book bag, got put in Rikers, ended up spending like 3-4 years there because he couldn't make bail. Ultimately came out and he committed suicide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It can't be no bail, and it can't be astronomical bail. It has to be a middle ground, and that's what politicians have done. It just doesn't work, and I wish people would snap out of it. And honestly, the man needs to stop going to parties and dancing and do his job. Sorry, respectfully. It's just how I feel.
Respectfully.
All right, we're on the clock. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to wrap up the show. We could go for definitely long. I appreciate everybody coming through and bringing my 2 amazing co-hosts back to the set. And we're going to be getting busy, and things are going to be evolving as we go along. Make sure you check out the Facebook and the Instagram. Go to YouTube, like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell so you can know when we're going live. And I'm Mr. A.
B. Chanel.
Shelly Sasson in the building.
And this is the Set 6145. We will be back next week, Wednesday at the same time. Thank you for joining us.